during your walk living by faith, it is important to understand that there will be many parts of the ego within you that will put up a fight against the light of God. An example of this are things that I personally go through and have gone through recently. And the reason I proclaim this to everyone is because we as disciples boast in our infirmities, that Christ be magnified even more within us. Christ being the more that we die to the spirit of this world, that is the pride, reputation, and boastfulness of the self. For our faith should not be in the opinion of men, rather in the revelation of Jesus Christ within us, as it is written. And he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore most gladly I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me." Number one being that I love food. Since I was a kid, I've always loved food. Nevertheless, fasting and exercise is something that my ego runs from at all costs. Number two, there are times where I lose myself swiping away on my phone, wasting time, doing nothing productive when there's a whole world that needs to be saved. Now this third part of the ego is a perfect example on how God helps you overcome things when you are living in the light. This one was a few weeks ago. I was hurt because of the time and effort that I had placed watering and caring for this ministry, and failing to see the fruits of its growth caused me to become dismayed and weary, of which caused the long break that I took for a few weeks. This is caused by the ego spirit, of which tries to force its will to be, when everything that is in the present moment is God's will for my life. Nevertheless, it is something that God allowed me to go through in order for that part of the ego spirit to die. This part of the ego was caused by me believing the thought that it was not growing, the thought that there is not one person that even listens to you, and the thought that it was me that is doing all of the works, when it is not me, rather the Spirit that is creating the love through me. The more that you are shining the light within you daily, the more that these things will come out of you, because it is the light that is shining on the darkness within you, that your whole body would be full of light. It is the light that is guiding us towards Christ, that is dying to the parts of us that have yet to be perfected. Ultimately, this is the reason why the ego spirit hates and runs from the light in stillness, as Jesus Christ teaches us this when he says, "And this is the condemnation, that the light has come into the world, but men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone practicing evil hates the light, and does not come to the light, lest his deeds should be exposed. But he who does the truth comes to the light, that his deeds may be clearly seen, that they have been done in God." Now what helped me in overcoming this part of the ego was fellowship. I cannot even take credit for the ministry that God has placed in my life, ultimately because had it not been through fellowship or a fellow brother of mine who knows himself also, I would not be here today. If anyone were to ever glorify me, the very first thing I would do is give God all of the glory. And secondly, I would give this fellow brother of mine the rest of the glory, because had it not been for God placing this brother in my life, I would not be here in front of you today, as my fellow brother definitely lives up to the meaning of his name, the Good Shepherd. Likewise, in the same manner, one part of the body of Christ complements the other, as we all form a vital part in the perfect fullness of the Father, which is the body of Christ here on earth. There is not one that is greater than the other. And yes, even me in my wisdom, this fellow brother of mine came to me with a few simple words, causing me to have faith to push forward. The Spirit of God does not only dwell in oneself, rather dwells within each and every human being in the present moment. Another thing that helped me overcome this part of the ego is the amount of revelation that has been revealed. Quit taking it so personal and simply be. Making it fun, as it is very fun destroying the kingdom of Satan, where he thinks to have the upper hand, using nothing but love. But the main reason I proclaim this for everyone to hear is for you to understand that I am simply a human being like you that follows Christ by going towards the pain of dying to the ego spirit. I've become the observer of my own life, and the evidence of Christ being magnified within me even more is the very fact that you can see the change from my first videos to now, and the same light that dwells within me is within every single human being on the face of the earth. There is not one that is greater than the other, and if God did it for me when I was full of so much darkness, then he'll do it for absolutely anyone. I am nobody special, and although it may seem painful to give up your life to become the observer, you will find the beautiful gift that God has placed within your soul that is fearfully and wonderfully made, of which no one can copy nor take away. Know yourselves, brothers and sisters, that will become one in the body of Christ and in the army of God.